Well, hello, and welcome to another edition of the Mark Medley Show, where we come to you from time to time, and actually we're going to be coming to you more because I just increased space, which gives me more ability to do more podcasts, and I think I'm going to do a little bit more, come to you a little bit more, because I really enjoy doing this. And I know I have my radio show, which is heard live each Saturday morning from 6 a.m. to 9 o'clock a.m., where we web stream on gobrave.org, and in the northern New Jersey area on FM radio, WP 88.7 FM. But I also enjoy doing the podcasts, because the podcasts allow me the opportunity to talk about different topics as well. And if you remember, but the last podcast had to do with the magic words. Thank you, please, may I. I'm sorry. That's what we dealt with. We dealt with that whole notion of gratitude and saying thank you and using the magic words. So this podcast, this episode, can kind of be an extension of that, if you will. And that's this whole notion of customer service. And particularly if you're one who works in a field and you're on that side of the aisle who is providing customer service, I particularly need you to listen to this. If you're the salesperson on the floor, if you're the person behind the counter at McDonald's or Kentucky Fried Chicken or Popeyes or Chick-fil-A or Wendy's, or you name it, I'm just naming those to give examples. If you happen to be the person behind that counter, or for that matter, you could be on a department store floor, this one is for you, but it's also for the buyer, for the customer. And where I'm coming from is kind of in that same realm that I came from in terms of the gratitude and the magic words. Because what I'm trying to get at is positive experiences. And I've had some positive experiences. I've had some negative experiences. So I'm just bringing these out to highlight this, like I do with my blog, to provoke thought and consideration, something to think about and to observe. A couple of months ago, I was out riding my bicycle. One of my favorite means of exercise is riding my road bike. And usually whenever I go out, I make it my goal to go no less than 20 miles. Now, I can do anything over 20 miles, but I try not to do anything less than 20 miles when I go out. And usually somewhere in the ride, I may stop at one of the local retailers, as I did on this particular day, and the example that I'm going to use in terms of bad customer service. And in some respects, I am going to use the names of the establishments only to show an example. On this particular day, and I had been to 7-Elevens before, because I know each 7-Eleven is independently operated and owned. I get that as a franchise. So I didn't have this experience at one of them, so I'm going to be fair. So this was at a particular one that I stopped in. And I was riding, and I stopped in because I wanted to get a bottle of water and an energy bar. And just as I was about to go in, a suspicious looking person, and I don't know, it's just maybe the way the person looked. And my bike is nearly $1,000 or more. It's a relatively expensive road bike, at least for me. I mean, for those who ride road bikes, $1,000 is on the lower end. But for me, it's $1,000, and I don't want to lose my bike. So as I came through the door, I set the bicycle right within the door, just so I can make my purchase, so I can keep my eye on it, that it doesn't walk away. Because I know it doesn't take long for someone who's a thief to do what they do. So that's why I was looking to set it inside of the store while I made my purchase. The man behind the counter had an absolute fit. Started yelling at me, "Get the bike out of the store, you can't put that in here, get it out, get it out, get it out." And I was trying to explain to him, I don't want my bicycle stolen. That's why I'm bringing it in with me. I don't want it stolen. I just seen somebody lurking about outside front, walking past, that looked like they might be someone that might try something. He would not allow me to. All he kept yelling was, "Get it out, get it out, get it out." So I turned to him and said, "Sir, I do not have to beg you to spend my money in this store." And it left such a bad taste in my mouth that you can rest assured, while I'm not going to boycott all 7-Elevens, I will not be stopping again in that one. I'm sharing this story because that bad customer service experience tainted now my view of that particular location, the shop in that particular location. I will not be going back there because I refuse to be treated in any other manner than in an excellent manner when I'm the one spending my money there. Now, a week later, I went to a Popeyes restaurant. And the error now was indeed on my side because they have signs hanging outside of the store with the various specials. When I went to the counter, I asked for a particular special, not realizing that it was only for Mondays and Wednesdays. I didn't see that part in the sign. It might have been small print. I don't know. But when I asked for that particular order, the young lady looked at me and she said, "Okay, it'll be 10 minutes or so." And I waited. And as I was about to pay her, she said, because it was a Sunday, she said, "You know, that order that you ordered, really that special is only on Mondays and Wednesdays. But I decided to be a good Samaritan." That's quote unquote. That's what she said. "I decided to be a good Samaritan. I'm going to provide that order for you anyway, even though today is Sunday, and that special is only good on Mondays and Wednesdays." And then as I paid her, she looked at me, she said, "Have a blessed Sunday." And I walked out of that store, and this is a week later. It might have been a day later. It might have been like Saturday, Sunday. It might have been the same weekend. I walked out of that store with the exact opposite experience, saying from this point on, this will now be the Popeyes that I patronize. You see what I'm trying to get folks to understand, and I'm going to give you one more example that I just had yesterday. There are some stores that customer service is their thing. Customer service is their number one priority, and with good reason. I know you have stores like Nordstrom's. They were known at one point, and probably still is known, for when the experience that they create for a customer when they come in that store. That's one of their number one priorities, is how their representatives treat the customer who comes in the door. Chick-fil-A, I had read about them, heard about them, had not had the opportunity to patronize many of their stores. I think maybe my visit yesterday was my second or third time in life stopping in a Chick-fil-A. And as soon as I walked in the door and walked up to the counter, the experience was different from many fast food restaurants. The young lady behind the counter was polite as I don't know what. As we went through my order, and this is a fast food restaurant, she asked me my name. And I said, "My name is Mark." Then she asked me about the various sauces that could come with my order. And we laughed and joked about that because I chose the plain ordinary honey mustard and barbecue. And she was kind of like pushing me to get out of the box, get out of the comfort zone and try a new sauce or a different sauce. But we had a good laugh about that. Then she gave me this canister to set on my table and said, "When your order is done, we're going to bring it to you." So, thank you. Went to my table, took the blue canister, sat it on there. And not long thereafter, a young man came up and said, "Are you Mark?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And they said, "Well, Mark, here's your order." Very politely, much manners. And then whenever I finished, I was going to take my tray to the garbage myself, because that's kind of the way I am. I do not like leaving a mess. That if I eat something, I like to take it, put it in the garbage, dishes in the sink, what have you. He said, "No, sir, I'll get that." I said, "No, I was going to." He said, "No, sir, please, thank you, I'll get that." Again, same young man, very polite, very respectful. Rest assured, I will be going back to Chick-fil-A again, if for nothing else than the customer experience. I walked out of this. As a matter of fact, before I walked out, I had to send Chick-fil-A a tweet and said, what a wonderful experience that I just had at Chick-fil-A. The reason I'm sharing this story in this particular podcast is the representative in what we may think is a menial or a low level or no position job really is the most important person in the company, because he or she becomes the face of the company. The average Joe or the average Sue, they do not know the CEO, nor do they care about the CEOs of these companies. But they do care, however, on how they're treated at the ground level. That means the representative or the clerk or the person behind the counter. The experience that they give the customer will determine whether or not that customer comes back again, which ultimately rolls up into dollars. Because at the end of the day, it's about dollars and cents. It's about profit and loss. And I would theorize that the companies who really put an emphasis on customer service probably are more profitable than those who don't. I've been in establishments where the person behind the counter, they had a young man in there with their pants sagging. Total turn off. I've been in establishments where the young lady behind the counter was playing around with her boyfriend. Total turn off. I've been in establishments where the person behind the counter who was serving would sneeze into their hand. Total turn off. And I've been into establishments where the person was rude. Total turn off. When we get customer service, or good customer service, that ought to be the norm. But unfortunately, it doesn't become the norm. It becomes the exception. So as I share this podcast today, just keep that in mind. And as the customer, think back to what I said in the last podcast. Think about how you ask for whatever it is you come in there for. How about saying, may I have? Or please, instead of can I get? Or can I have? Or get me that? Because truth be told, the folks working, they're not our slaves. They're not there to do our bidding, so to speak. I know we're there spending our money, but that's not their role to take orders in the manner that we give them either. So it's a two-way street. So I leave you with these 3 words. That's the title of the blog. Just as in real estate is location, location, location. In the retail industry, the fast food industry, any of the industries that are looking to make money having to deal with sales, the 3 words are customer service, customer service, customer service.